Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Stage Johnson. Just finished watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans. I actually picked the Chiefs because I honestly thought the Chiefs was going to do something this year, but in typical Andy Reid team fashion, this makes his playoff record I think 11-14. I picked Kansas City because they got all these weapons and everything like that. Alex Smith was playing good, but their holes is in that defense as it would end up showing up, even to the point of Mariota throwing a touchdown literally to himself. Mariota starts getting hot, then Derrick Henry just starts running through these guys like it was nothing. Uh, there it is. Again, this mediocrity as far as coaching is concerned, as far as Andy Reid is concerned, very good coach, but not a great coach. Again, 11-14. But see, this is Kansas City's thing though. Anyway, Kansas City, even under Marty Schottenheimer, it's like it's a cloud that hangs over that place. Great records, good records, going into the playoffs, and they're one and done. That's what Kansas City Chiefs do. That's what they've done for the past 25 years, literally. Of all some of the great defenses that they had, some of the great players that they had, and everything like that. Never really had nothing that great on offense, but they always had great defenses and stuff and a decent running game. They can't get out of their way at the end of the day. And that's what I'm talking about. And with Andy Reid, it's 5 years there. This is what he's produced. Uh, you know, uh, who knows what's going to go on with the Kansas City Chiefs? I picked them to do this, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that this particular thing actually happened with them. I'm kind of going to be all over the place, but just talking about these playoff games and everything. While St. Louis and Atlanta's getting on its way right about now, I actually picking St. Louis. I think St. Louis is probably they're that team. I think now they're that team like what Seattle was a couple of years ago. Maybe not that strong in the secondary, or maybe not that defense, but I think they have they have some of the players and stuff like that in order to do something. I could be wrong, or who knows? Atlanta may come back and get them with football in these playoffs. You just never know. But if you're going to ready to play ball, you get ready to play ball, especially when it comes to the playoffs and whatnot. So everybody's a young team. I've been there for the first time at one time or another. So that whole excuse about well they've never been there before, this that everybody gets to that particular point where they've never been there before. Sometimes with a team, the franchise is used to being there, but still some of the players are not used up to some of those types of things. So it always is a player's first time to do something, at a certain time. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. Uh, Another thing that I want to talk about. We're talking about this whole thing that's been going on with the Patriots and whatnot, with this whole situation, with all the information that came out with that guy, that writer from ESPN. Of course, like I said, if Pats don't never have anything get out, so if they wanted something to get out, they never get. So this was definitely leaked purposely for people to know what's going on. And I would say this here, and I'm a big advocate of it. I don't really have no issues with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's gonna go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He to me is just like he's done what he's supposed to do. He's a smart dude, does what he does. He plays his role. He does what he's supposed to do, and that's that. Like Howie Long basically said it. He's probably the most accomplished quarterback as far as like when you put him up against other quarterbacks and playing the position and skill set. It's other guys that dominate over him, in my opinion. And I think he probably even knows that. But he's in the right system, perfect storm, and everything like that. When you start talking about with Belichick, it goes back to like because you have guys like Skip Bayless talk about, well, it's because of Belichick and this just because of Brady. Dude, no. Belichick as a defensive coordinator already has set a bar as a defensive coordinator with the Giants back in the 80s and 90s and won 2 Super Bowls. So he's a defensive mind that has mastered the art of football, in my opinion. I'm never a Pats fan or whatever, but as far as coaches, probably go down to one of the greatest coaches of all time, if not the greatest or whatever, it's going to come down to somebody like Belichick. Belichick, he when the game evolves, he evolves. It's like he's never a step behind. He's right there. And saying all that to say is that he's about making football decisions. So this whole thing that went on with Brady, Kraft, Garoppolo, the the guru, the guy, the trainer or whatever and stuff like that. Like, come on. He knew that Garoppolo was this guy. And like I said, Kraft picked Brady. He's going to be 41 by next season. He doesn't. Father Time gets them all. He gets them all. At a certain time, Father Time gets all of these players. They're not there anymore. You look around and time passes by like that. And I remember when Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith and Charles Haley and all them guys were ripping and running down the field. Them guys are gone. And now, and just like a snap of a finger, with a snap of a finger, it's like, hey, it's like 15, 20 years has passed by. Guys are gone. And it's going to be the same thing with a guy like Brady. So my thing of it is like people try to put Brady up as this thing, like he's like he's above certain things or whatever, or he's not above. He's above being petty. And I think Brady is petty. Just the mere fact, and just show you how these guys work, just the mere fact that Brady played in a game that was basically meaningless the last game of the season. I don't care what anybody said. People say, well, I mean, they already had clinched the division. So it was about home field advantage. It's like, you don't need that. I say Todd Gurley could have actually played against San Francisco, but the team sat down. It's like, well, they want to have playoff home field advantage to the playoffs, whatever. Brady played because Brady's trying to get that third MVP. That's why he played. They're already to clinch. They clinched 3-4 weeks ago. They clinch that damn division every year. That division is putrid. Everybody knows it. I'm not taking anything from the same way like the 49ers basically used to be back in the day. You know, it is what it is. But at the same time, like I said, you get to a particular point when you start talking about these guys. And so Brady's not above, you know what I'm saying? It's not above being petty. I mean, you know, like I said, so they all played and put stats up and do their thing and to get home field advantage. Fine. But I'm like, they could have easily not played and probably still beat the Jets. You know, but, you know, excuse me, who they played? Was it Buffalo? One of them teams that they played. And still beat them. I'm like, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, I think it was Buffalo or whatever team it was they played. It's like they was going to beat them anyway. And all this stuff has come out. So now Belichick is Josh McDaniels and then the defensive coordinator, you know, giving them blessings to go check some other place, things he's never done before. Sending the quarterbacks. He didn't get anything for Garoppolo because obviously this is something that's been brewing since this past summer. And you know, I think Belichick is on his way out because the owner actually picked a 40 going on 41-year-old quarterback. And that's the thing about Belichick. Belichick cannot, that's the thing about football, but I don't think Kraft got, because Kraft's the owner. But that's the thing, is like, Belichick is not going to sit up there and get fuzzy-wuzzy and cuddly up with these players because they all come to an end. Belichick's been in the game and been on the NFL sideline since, I think, 1975. He's seen so many guys come and go. He has a feel that he knows that. You know, it is what it is. He's, I would rather, you guys are like saying, I would rather much get a person, get them a year or two before it crashes, before it's, you know, before their time runs out. So at the end of the day, really, like Belichick, I had no problem with Belichick did and what he's even doing right now. Because if that's the way you're going to disrespect me after what we built, because I'm the head coach and the GM, look at what I've done. And it's the first time and the one time you're going to get at me like that when I'm like, we're talking about going for the future. Garoppolo is our future, and you're throwing away for a 41-year-old coach. Give him this last year, but after that, he needs to go on his way. And, you know, the Kraft can't do it. Kraft can't do it. And in Brady's mind, I'm Tom freaking Brady. You don't supposed to do that to me. So that's just going to show you the dynamics of what's going on, of how that franchise has been ran. But at the end of the day, somebody like Tom Brady is just as petty as any other player that wants to get his stats, get his stuff up, but as well at the same time, he thinks that he's pretty much immortal. He wants to play these 45, and I don't think he has it in him. No player really has it up in him. He can play like, you know, George Blanda pulled it off because George Blanda was a kicker. He was a kicker as well as a quarterback. So he could play, so he could do that. Dude, you're playing quarterback, and I don't care. At a certain time, he's not going to go on. But it's going to be interesting if Belichick does leave. If Belichick does leave that particular franchise, and them guys go, and you have left with a 41-year-old quarterback, what coach are you going to bring into New England Pats? What coach are you going to do that? What coach are you going to bring in to coach a 41-year-old quarterback when technically any quarterback, any coach is going to come in and come in and coach, he is going to look at that and say, dude, you got about a year or two left, if that. And they're going to have to build something and hope that it's going to click. And it just may not click at all. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening with that dynamics, even if they win a Super Bowl, because it's like that's, with them going to the playoffs and doing all the different things that they do, that's expected of the Pats. And like I say, and like you look at Belichick, he'll revel in all the stuff and all the glory and the touchdowns and the championships and all that stuff. Belichick can tell you about a day he had the party fine, stuff like that. After about the second or third day, it's like, dude, they're out there they're out there trying to get these college at these places, at these combines or whatever, trying to sit up there and see what these young college players at these all-star games, college ball and all that stuff, they're into that. That's how that's literally how Belichick that's how he plays. And that's why he's been successful, because he doesn't get caught up in all that stuff. Remember, he comes from the tree of Parcells. And when I say he comes from the tree of Parcells, look at Parcells. Look at them Giants teams that he won with. It's like you got 2 Hall of Famers on there, and that's it, dude. Taylor and Carson. That's it. Phil Simms, solid quarterback. At O.J. Anderson, Joe Morris, Phil McConkey. You had Mark Bavaro. Jim Burt also was on defense and stuff like that. You had them guys like that. You had some solid guys and stuff. It was a system that them guys played, and that was it. It wasn't going to have no high dollar, price dollar quarterback up in there. Belichick is not going to have that. He's like, I'm going to pay the quarterback because you got to have the chemistry with your quarterback. I get it. But at the same time, you're not going to be able to play those games with these guys. It's not going to go down that way. So it's like, and Belichick is a football coach. He's a football coach. And when I say he's a football coach, and you look at the way Belichick coaches, he is a coach first and foremost. And his thing is, I'm doing what's best for the franchise. And Garoppolo, in his opinion, was like, this is a guy that we've already won 5. We might win 6. Who cares? Whatever. We'll see what happens with that. But at the same time, he's a guy because Tom, he knows the end of the road is for Tom. Oh, great year, this is that. That's why you look at the NFL, they're scrambling. They want to give Tom Brady this NFL because if Carson Wentz stay healthy, he wins it. Todd Gurley could easily win. If Todd Gurley could have played, he would have probably did something. But no, and that's why I don't care what anybody said, because that's the competitiveness, obviously, of Belichick. But at the same time, I'm like, Brady, it's like, it's like he's going to play. That's what that franchise does. It's like all about rubbing it in your face at the end of the day. And, do what he does. He's probably going to win his 3rd MVP or whatever. But it's like because Brady's trying to get all the things out that everybody basically passed by him. Dude, he definitely holds grudges. But he comes off like he doesn't because of the way the media puts him up there. And it's like, no, he's a football player. So at the end of the day, he just as grimy as a lot of these other guys out here is grimy, or have the arrogance and everything and think that he revolves around him. That's what he does. And I don't have any problem with that because he's a football player. But at the same time, like I said, you look at this whole thing, you look at the situation that's going on. I don't see Belichick coming back after this year, win, lose, or draw. But they're going to finish the year off because they do what the Pats do. But at the same time, it's just like, nah. And and if Belichick leaves, I don't see Brady doing nothing as a 41-year-old quarterback for the Pats, but end up falling asleep and being a shell of himself. That's what I see. But that's just my 2 cents on that and everything. I'm gonna probably get to watching this game of the Rams and of Atlanta, but I'm like, those are some of the things I wanted to talk about. See the All-Pro team come out the other day and whatnot. And if you look at if you look at even what went on, it's so funny because when you look at it, it's like your leading rusher of the league had like only 1,300 yards. It just goes to show you kind of it was a down year for rushing in the NFL this year and everything. But Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, two best backs in the league as far as I'm concerned. If Ezekiel Elliott doesn't get in that problem, he's right back at the same. He's right back at the same tricks that he was last year. But that's what happens. So we'll see what ends up happening. So I might do some things on the games and stuff like that tomorrow. But just want to kind of like a weekend review. Those are some of the hot topics that between the game today and then of course the whole thing with the Pats, because that just kind of just feel like that was a bombshell that was dropped. But it's like, how do you sit up there and get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and you basically don't even get anything for him? So Belichick, I think, is on a strategy where he's getting ready to get out of Dodge, and he's done because I think he honestly felt that the whole thing that went on with Kraft, that was just completely like, damn, that's just betrayal, because players going to come and go regardless. All of them are come and go, and Tom Brady is no different. Tom Brady is no different. And he's gotten to Kraft's ear. Well, I want him to play this for him because he's done so much for me and stuff like that. It's like, that's not the way it goes, though. Because Brady could have easily walked away after that Super Bowl that they won against Atlanta, which anytime Atlanta plays football now, I'm not going for them. And after that ridiculous debacle of what happened, I can't really root for them on anything. I just don't. I can't do it. And so those are the types of things that has went on with of course, obviously with that team, but these are the type of things that has went on with that of when you start talking about with the Pats, and it's like Tom Brady, Father Time gets all of these guys sooner or later. It gets us all. So Tom Brady's no different. He can eat kale. He can do this. Don't eat tomatoes. Don't drink a beer. Don't do this. Don't do that. Doesn't matter. Guy coming off that edge, come get you. He coming to get you. So, check me out. Everything Football. Really appreciate the people that subscribing to the page and everything. I'll be coming out with more things. I'm trying to really deal with a lot of more important topics. Topics that's really riveting, whatever that's hitting in the NFL and whatnot, and whatnot. And so at the same time, I also want to be able to, just like I said, talk about different, like a lot of the different football things that goes on, in the league at this time, especially with the playoffs and everything, and other little underlying things that's happening as well. Of course, we got the Hall of Fame stuff coming up. I've already, all that stuff with Terrell. I've already did a piece on that last year. It was like I've already made my argument. TL's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame, period. But check me out, Everything Football 62. Also check me out on Twitter, Unctupman 62, Everything Football 62. All right, y'all have a good one. We'll talk with you later.